Our boy was gunned down into human Swiss cheese by his ruthless nemesis. But instead of dying, he wakes up in the past on the exact day a revolutionary virtual reality game launches. Armed with the encyclopedic memory of a master thief, his early game advantage is absolutely broken. He casually hard carries a stunning blonde beauty and his pink-haired crush through an impossible expert-level dungeon, leaving them in sheer disbelief at his elite-level skills. Our boy kicks things off by firing a bullet straight into the heart of a mafia boss named Boso. Before the guy can even hit the floor, his loyal guard starts screaming his name in a panic and immediately turn our boy into a human block of Swiss cheese with a hail of gunfire. Collapsing to the ground, our boy delivers a final philosophical roast, noting that all of Boso's immense wealth and glory could not buy him an extra life against a total nobody. Mentally thanking his parents for the chance to finally avenge them, he bitterly complains to the universe about his terrible luck and refuses to accept this unfair fate as his vision fades into a dark void. Suddenly, his eyes snap open and he bolts upright in bed, looking like he just woke up from a high-definition nightmare. He frantically checks his body, entirely confused as to how he survived being murdered by the bodyguards of his nemesis, Kaosu. Glancing around the familiar room, he realizes he has time-raveled straight back to his school days. The television blur, an advertisement for Conviction, a brand new full-immersion holographic virtual reality game in its open beta phase. Seeing the commercial, our boy realizes he has rewound back to the exact moment the revolutionary game launched. Grabbing an old family photo from his desk, our boy reminisces about his parents. Back in the day, they made an absolute fortune trading polonium metals and opening a successful refining company. Unfortunately, their massive wealth attracted the greedy eyes of Chaosu and his ruthless Century Group. Thanks to some spectacularly terrible betrayals from trusted friends and relatives, his father's company was utterly destroyed. The bankruptcy led his father to take poison, and his mother passed away from sheer grief. Our boy admits that his past self was a lazy, entitled menace who wasted his days doing absolutely nothing. Left with zero options, he had chosen the extreme route of taking Chaos Su down with him. But now staring at his own hands, he realizes the universe has handed him a massive reset button and he vows to protect his family this time around. Our boy knows that Conviction is not just a game, but a revolutionary second world where massive corporations, including TA's Century Group, will eventually build their empires. In his previous life, he was a level 180 master thief. Checking his phone, he confirms today is July 25th, exactly 7 days after the game launched. Since the top players are only hovering around level 5, he knows his encyclopedic knowledge of the future will let him catch up without breaking a sweat. Scraping together his remaining savings, he manages to buy a basic virtual reality helmet. Slipping the mask over his face, he confidently declares that despite being a week late to the party, he is going to steamroll the competition and reach the absolute pinnacle of the server. The system boots up and prompts him to choose a faction. Bypassing the lawful light faction of the Southern Empire, the evil dark faction of demons and undead, and the neutral giant tribe, he selects the Greenland Empire just like he did in his past life. Knowing every single quest and hidden trick for the Shadow Dancer Thief class, he locks in his choice to maximize his rebirth advantage. Naming his character Nirvana Flame, he successfully spawns into the bustling Carol City. Surrounded by a massive crowd of early players, he breathes in the digital air and celebrates being back. Opening his status window, he carefully allocates his starting attribute points, smugly, noting that he will not repeat his past mistake of ruining his stat distribution and wasting his leveling time. Heading toward the city teleportation point, he completely ignores a player trying to sell a basic white-gray dagger for 2 copper coins. Our boy remembers falling for that exact scam in his past life, and knows he can just use the free teleportation to reach a town where the same weapon costs only 1 copper. Instead, his attention shifts to a level 3 paladin trying to hawk a stealth skill book for 6 copper coins. The surrounding players complain about the outrageous price, but our boy knows stealth is the absolute most vital early game skill for a thief. He desperately needs it to raid a specific hidden treasure chest in a high monster zone that will drastically speed up his leveling. Approaching the paladin, our boy casually offers to take the book off his hands for free. In exchange, he promises to reveal a secret farming spot where the guy can harvest over a dozen of those rare skill books every single day. The paladin takes one look at our boy's level 0 status and immediately tells him to get lost, mocking the audacity of a newbie begging for free loot. Unbothered, our boy starts rattling off the exact geographical coordinates from Marilock Wizards in Linktown, specifically listing off 22, 385, followed by 21, 338, and 23, 329. The paladin's jaw practically hits the floor as he severely questions how a brand new player knows precise Heil map coordinates. Deciding the massive payoff is worth the gamble, the paladin hands over the expensive skill book. Our boy happily accepts the trade and drops one more piece of insider knowledge, telling the paladin that the same monsters also drop the highly sought-after Nightal perception skill. He smoothly requests that the paladin mail him any extra copies he finds. The paladin is so thrilled by the insider tip that he activates his teleportation immediately, enthusiastically promising to send any bonus loot directly to our boy's inbox. With the stealth skill successfully learned, our boy notes that the ability will make him much harder to detect, though higher-level enemies might still spot him. He activates his free teleportation and instantly arrives at the Wildcat Monster Zone. The forest area is crawling with aggressive felines, ranging from level 2 to level 5. Since he is completely defenseless at level 0, getting too close to any of them means instant death. But he takes comfort in knowing he has absolutely no experience points or gear to lose if he gets mauled. Spotting a hidden silver treasure chest nestled high up in a nearby tree, he notes that nobody has looted it yet because the area is far too dangerous for current players. He pops his brand new stealth skill, which currently only gives him a meager 2 minutes of invisibility, and expertly dodges the prowling felines to reach the tree. Scrambling up the trunk, he reaches the silver chest and initiates the unlocking process. A loading progress bar appears, forcing him to stay perfectly calm and still while a horde of angry wildcats circles the ground just below his feet. After 27 agonizing seconds of holding his breath, the chest finally pops open. Our boy reaches inside and pulls out a precious skill book for Vital Strike, a devastating attack that deals 150 bonus damage when hitting enemy weak points and carries a 30 con cooldown. Gripping his shiny new loot, our boy smiles and confidently announces that his perfect path to leveling up begins right now. Our boy beams with pride, knowing the top-tier Vital Strike skill will easily cut his early game grinding in half. The system confirms his new ability just as his stealth effect abruptly expires, leaving him exposed to the prowling wildcats. Rather than panic, he casually drops from the tree right into the middle of the angry feline mob. He sarcastically thanks them for guarding his treasure and completely embraces his violent furry demise. Fading into digital particles, he explains that dying usually means losing precious experience and gear, but a level 0 player has absolutely nothing to lose. The system declares him dead, penalizing him 1 standard glove before tossing him back to the nearest town. Reappearing in the safe zone, he smugly notes that this free quick return feature is incredibly handy for saving travel time. Kicking off phase 2 of his grand leveling plan, he sprints through the city looking for quick cash. The next step requires 20 copper coins, and since he only started with 10, he needs to hustle. He approaches Hunter Claws to accept a quest for 20 silver gray giant rat skulls, then hits up a farmer to agree to kill 50 of the pests. With those locked in, he visits the pharmacist. The NPC mentions hearing about a helpful young man and asks him to gather potion materials. Smirking at his own genius, our boy notes this hidden quest to collect 21 rat tails only unlocks by accepting the first 2 simultaneously, a secret only he knows. Out in the level 1 rat zone, he tests his new Vital Strike on a giant rod, dealing massive critical hits of 21 and 32 damage. Impressed by the raw power, he quickly claims its skull and tail. The rat also unexpectedly drops a pair of white grade tough leather leggings, which give 4 defense to any warrior. Knowing they will fetch a few copper at the auction house, he spends the next hour happily massacring rats until his quest log is full. Cashing in his haul with the 3 NPCs back in the city, he earns a massive 400 copper coins and 3 instant health potions. Surprised that the hidden quest actually handed out healing items, he drops the leather leggings at the auction house and marches into the weapon shop. The owner brags about having the finest weapons around, but our boy cuts to the chase, demanding a level 0 crossbow with specific attack and fire rate stats for under 40 copper. The merchant presents a small, powerful crossbow for 35 copper. Its base fire rate is 8, but a built-in triple shot bumps it to 15, easily hitting targets 30 yards away. Our boy slams down 44 copper to buy the bow, plus a ridiculous 9,000 inferior bolts, leaving the giddy shop owner wishing his esteemed customer safe travels. Geared up, he heads straight for the level 8 Wild Buffalo Zone. Since the game features a severe level suppression hurdle every 5 levels, current top players cannot even scratch these beasts, let alone their rare leaders. But armed with future knowledge, our level 0 boy is totally confident. Arriving at coordinates 567, 192, he spots the Buffalo leader. Positioning himself perfectly within range, he fires a triple shot. Thanks to the massive level gap, his critical hit deals a pathetic 1 point of damage to the beast's 300 health pool. Unfazed, he smirks, knowing his 9,000 bolts will eventually get the job done. The enraged buffalo charges, but our boy is safely perched on a specific rock. He openly mocks the furious animal, explaining that this exact spot is a notorious terrain bug from his past life. For the next 3 hours, he relentlessly turns the helpless buffalo into a pink cushion. Burning through nearly 4,000 bolts, he finally lands the killing blow. The system rewards his cross-level kill with an insane 18% experience bonus, instantly skyrocketing him straight to level 2. Looting the massive beast yields 5 copper coins and a mysterious bronze great horn dagger. He explains that rare monsters drop items with bonus properties at a miserable 0.1% rate. Knowing bronze weapons have 20% more attack power and an extra stat, he figures this level 5 loot is worth at least 3 silver coins and decides to get identified. Suddenly, a notification alerts him that his leggings just sold for 8 copper. Immediately after, his communicator rings with a call from Flaming Stone. The paladin is practically weeping with joy, aggressively calling our boy his master. He excitedly reports scoring 2 stealth books at the coordinates. Worried our boy took a massive loss on their trade. Brushing it off, our boy just reminds him to forward any night all perception skills he finds. When the giddy paladin asks how a level 0 player knew such a top-tier spot, our boy smoothly lies about having deleted a previous high-level character. Totally buying it, the paladin begged for a guide to the Marilock Wizard Dungeon, admitting his team keeps dying and losing gear. Smelling fresh profit, our boy offers a non-negotiable full walkthrough for 2 silver coins. Thrilled, the paladin agrees to convince his captain to pay up. Hanging up, our boy strolls into Tracktown to appraise his new dagger. The NPC demands 10 copper coins. Since appraisal fees are 5% of the buyback price, our boy does the math and realizes his dagger is worth at least 12 silver coins on the market. Paying up, the stats are revealed. A level 0 bronze horn dagger with 18 attack power and 5 bonus strength. Shocked by the absurd numbers, he realizes this weapon hits nearly twice as hard as a standard dagger. Gripping his shiny new prize, he smugly declares this massive power boost will make him completely invincible in the early game. Taking stock of his shiny new arsenal, our boy realizes that while he hits like a truck with vital strike and stealth, he currently has the defensive stamina of wet single-ply toilet paper. To survive early game encounters, thieves usually rely on alchemy or bandaging skills to keep their health topped off. Since his pockets are surprisingly heavy with cash, he opts to just buy his survivability instead. Hitting up the local medicine shop, he grabs a stack of recovery items and 2 basic underwater breathing potions, deciding to properly learn the combat bandaging skill later. Arriving at Randall Lake, he finds the area absolutely swarming with low-level adventurers fiercely competing for monster spawns. Knowing the wilderness is basically a massive toxic group chat waiting to explode into violence over stolen loot, he pops his stealth to avoid the drama. His route requires sneaking straight through the heavily populated fisherman village. Suddenly, a server-wide announcement flashes across his vision, declaring that a massive guild is officially monopolizing the area and aggressively demanding all solo players vacate the premises. Recognizing their arrogant, overbearing tactics from his past life, our boy fondly remembers how they spent months making his life miserable. He promises to serve them a heavy dose of caramel adder and begins creeping through the village. Unfortunately, his stealth timer awkwardly expires right in the middle of hostile territory. A fiery blast violently smacks him in the back, burning off a chunk of his health. Turning around, he spots a level 3 elemental mage who smugly announces that solo players are strictly forbidden and warmly invites our boy to immediately get lost. Realizing he just bumped into a triumphant guild member, our boy weighs his options. Mages are notoriously allergic to close combat, and since running away is totally off-brand for him, he decides to go on the offensive. Knowing the mage's flame burst takes a painfully slow 2 seconds to cast, our boy aggressively sprints directly into the guy's personal space. The mage is completely flabbergasted by the sheer audacity of a thief charging him heat-in and frantically hurls another blazing fire spell. Taking the hit, our boy simply chugs a basic instant recovery potion mid-stride and ruthlessly slices into the squishy spellcaster. Panicking, the mage attempts to blast him away, absolutely certain that a fragile level 2 thief must be hovering on 1 hit point by now. Screaming about the sheer foolishness of defying the mighty, triumphant guild, the mage winds up for a final lethal fireball. Our boy completely ignores the dramatic villain monologue, activates Vital Strike, and brutally deletes the mage's remaining health bar. fading into digital dust. The dying mage frantically questions how a low-level solo player can possibly afford instant health potions. But our boy just casually notes that the guy's dropped bronze staff will fetch a very handsome price on the market. Realizing the dead mage's guildmates are about to swarm him like angry hornets, our boy immediately books it. The triumphant guild spots him by the lake and aggressively gives chase. One of them dramatically leaps into the air with a linear sword attack, but our boy easily dodges the strike, leaving the attacker severely questioning his own combat speed. Nearing the water's edge, our boy downs his underwater breathing potion. The guild members furiously scream at each other to stop him from jumping. But our boy just flashes them a cheeky grin, effortlessly dodges their uncoordinated attacks, and swan dives into the lake. Standing awkwardly on the shore, the furious mob realizes none of them actually bought water-breathing potions and are forced to abandon the chase. Meanwhile, the freshly respawned mage angrily vows revenge, permanently burning the name Nirvana Flame into his memory. Deep underwater, our boy enjoys his peaceful aquatic escape. Remembering a specific treasure stash from his past life, he swims to the bottom of the lake and snags a fisherman water-repelling pearl. The special item grants 30 minutes of underwater breathing, saving him from having to buy expensive potions in the future. However, his victory lap is violently interrupted when a three-headed spear nearly turns him into a shish kebab. He realizes he accidentally swims straight into a Heil fisherman nest and has absolutely zero chance of surviving a fight down here. But in a beautiful twist of fate, the triumphant G decides to raid the fisherman village up on the surface, instantly drawing all the aquatic aggro away from him. Our boy sincerely thanks his completely oblivious enemies for the perfectly timed destruction and casually swims to safety. Breaking the surface, he arrives at the Hidden Heart Lake Island. Shaking off the water, he immediately spots a familiar pink-haired girl. His heart does a little flip as he recognizes Yaoya, his Holy Word mage teammate from his past life, noting that they shared quite a bit of history back in the day. He happily chalks this early reunion up to pure destiny. The poor girl is currently backed into a corner by 3 aggressive monsters, looking like she is preparing to cancel her subscription to life. Spotting our boy emerging from the water, she initially fears he is going to attack her. Instead, he leaps directly into the fray, unleashing a flurry of vital strikes. Catching on quickly, Yaya drops some heavy holy judgments, and the two of them instantly wipe the floor with a monster trio. She warmly thanks him for the rescue. He flashes a charming smile, casually brushing it off as nothing, and introduces himself as Nirvana Flame. Hearing his voice and name, her eyes widen as she secretly wonders if he is the specific boy named and she knows in the real world. Pushing the thought aside, she formally introduces herself and immediately shoots him a friend request, eager to properly repay her savior. Accepting the request, he casually asks what brings her to such a remote island. She explains she is grinding for water spider sacks, while he notes he is hunting the exact same bugs for silk thread. Realizing their goals align perfectly, they party up, showing off her immense gratitude. She dumps 12 highly valuable silk thread straight into his inventory, insisting the items are totally useless to her and absolutely worth avoiding the massive penalty of a digital death. Before they can properly celebrate their new partnership, a massive water spider lord spawns into the area, completely threatening to ruin the vibe. Yaya panics at the sight of the leader class boss, but our boy stays completely cool. He orders her to jump back and quickly pulls the giant spider zero. With him flawlessly dodging attacks and keeping the massive bug distracted, she safely unloads her strongest holy strikes from a distance. Between his heavy vital strikes and her magical artillery, they completely melt the boss health bar with terrifying efficiency. Standing over the freshly defeated Spider Lord, Yao Yao is completely baffled. She cannot wrap her head around how buttery smooth their combat coordination is. Despite having literally just met, they fight with the seamless rhythm of a veteran duo who have been carrying each other for years. Staring at him in absolute awe, she finally asks why someone with his ridiculous skill level insists on playing entirely alone. He shrugs, admitting he is simply used to the solo grind. Sensing a golden opportunity to draft a superstar, she immediately invites him to join her team's upcoming raid on the notoriously difficult Dried Forest dungeon. Our boy gets straight down to business, asking Yao Yao for her party's shield warrior stats. She proudly reports they have 2 tanks sitting at 53 defense and 230 health points. Our boy immediately shoots her down, bluntly stating that is nowhere near enough. He explains that the level 3 dungeon boss, the Dry King, is a sub-monster with a 2% critical hit chance. If a tank's defense is under 60, they're guaranteed to be one-shot into a digital puddle, and the healers will absolutely not be able to keep up. Yao Ya is completely baffled, wondering how he knows hidden boss mechanics, but admits her team has prepped for days, and backing out is simply not an option. Hitting 60 defense requires extremely rare bronze gear, which is nearly impossible right now. Smirking, our boy casually offers the ultimate cheat code. Let him command the raid. Trusting his ridiculous skills, she promises to try her absolute best to convince her party. Changing the subject to the dead spider boss, Yaya uses her appraisal skill on the dropped loot. The system reveals a pair of bronze-grade silk gauntlets exclusively for majors and loaded with bonus defense and mana. Our boy smoothly tosses them to her, declaring them a perfect fit. Surprised, she asks what he gets out of the deal. He happily scoops up the rare silk drops and a shiny new thief skill book for Assassinate. She excitedly hugs her new gauntlets, thrilled with their massive haul. Right on cue, a server-wide announcement warns that the game is shutting down in 3 minutes. Exchanging cheerful goodbyes, they both log off for the day. Back in his real-world bedroom, our boy notes it is already the next morning. While his digital leveling is paused, he realizes his physical body currently has the durability of wet cardboard and desperately needs training if he plans on surviving Chaos's real-life goons. He hits the streets for a morning jog, but his workout is rudely interrupted when he nearly gets flattened by a speeding truck. Someone forcefully shoves him out of the way just in time. Dazed and bleeding slightly, he looks up to CC Yao, his beautiful desk mate from school. She fiercely scolds him for being so incredibly careless and marches off to grab the first aid kit from her car. Watching her, our boy's internal monologue hits a heavy emotional beat. In his past life, his crippling timidity kept him from confessing his feelings to her. Worse, because she was associated with him, Chaos's ruthless company targeted her, driving her into a severe psychological breakdown. Returning with the kit, she carefully bandages his scrapes, loudly demanding that he stop being such a reckless idiot. She looks up, her cheeks burning red, and asks if he is even listening to her. Flashing a charming smile, he smoothly replies that he does not need to worry about being careful since he has her look out for him. Flustered, she quickly turns her head away, aggressively, insisting she does not care about him. As she gets back into her car, her mind races. She wonders if this confident, flirty version of Nan is really the same guy she knows, noting that his new vibe is suspiciously similar to the Nirvana Flame player she just met in-game. Meanwhile, our boy solemnly vows to conquer conviction as fast as possible so he can permanently protect her from Kaisu and LT, Unk and GT's madness. His romantic resolve is shattered by a loud phone call from his best friend, Tang Yao. The guy screams through the speaker, demanding to know where our boy has been hiding for the past 2 days and ordering him to come over immediately. Our boy smiles, remembering how his best bro financially supported him during his lowest point in the past life, completely risking his own neck against Chiasu. Unfortunately, the guy was also a massive flirt who eventually crossed the wrong people over a girl and got beaten to death in a dark alley. Our boy promises the universe that his best friend is absolutely not going to become alleyway fertilizer this time around. Meeting up at the local gaming lounge known as the PK Arena, Tango excitedly asks if our boy has been playing Conviction. Our boy reveals he is a level 2 shadow dancer thief, while his friend brags about being a level 3 arcade mage. Our boy explains that the PK Arena allows players to log into their characters for local player versus player matches without risking their actual in-game progression. However, players constantly use the venue to illegally gamble real money and in-game gear, and Tanga happens to be a notorious gambling addict who almost never wins. Right on cue, a cocky guy named Wei Kai strolls up, aggressively mocking Tango for showing up to hand over more free money. Tango snaps back, but Wei Kai shifts his attention to our boy, threateningly asking if he did not learn his lesson last time. Remembering our boy used to be a terrified pushover, Wei Kai's crony is visibly confused by our boy's brand new spine. Tang Yao throws a protective arm around our boy, promising to keep the bullies back and slaps on his virtual reality mask to wager $200 against Wei Kai. Watching the screen, our boy analyzes the match. An arcade mage versus a berserker on a flat prairie map. Knowing the berserker has a devastating charge attack and the mage has absolutely zero cover, our boy knows his best friend is mathematically doomed. The crony sneers at our boy, mocking the impending loss and challenging our boy to a round. Our boy casually agrees, but insists he is not interested unless the stakes are actually worth his time. Furious at the blatant disrespect, the crony throws down a massive $700 wager. The match begins, pitching our boy's level 2 thief against the crony's level 2 ranger in a bamboo grove map. Our boy instantly pops stealth, leaving the ranger spinning in circles and screaming at the screen. Perched comfortably in a bamboo tree, our boy smugly notes that after 10 years of playing a thief, hiding is literally his second nature. He drops silently behind the confused ranger and delivers a brutal strike to the back of the head, shaving off 40 health points. As the ranger panics and furiously asks where the hell he came from, our boy simply whispers that it is over. He triggers Vital Strike, hitting for 70 damage and instantly deleting the ranger in exactly 2 moves. Outside the gaming pods, the best friend is practically screaming at the monitor for our boy to dodge. Inside the digital arena, the berserker aggressively unleashes a flame slash to force our boy to retreat. But close quarters combat is exactly where our boy thrives. Knowing his health pool can afford the hit, he purposely tanks the fiery attack, eating 56 damage just to maintain his absolute vantage and melee range. Furious that a squishy thief just completely ignored his skill, the berserker arrogantly triggers his linear slash charge, an attack that comes with a devastating stun effect. The bully gang outside immediately cheers, totally certain that if the stun connects, our boy's subscription to life is officially canceled. But as the massive berserker charges at point-blank range, our boy flawlessly dodges the brunt of it. Knowing his nimble dagger has a much smaller, faster hitbox than a giant greatsword, he seizes the microscopic opening. He strikes first, burying his blade directly into the berserker's vital point and instantly wiping out his remaining health, right before the charge animation fully finishes. The crowd outside stares at the screen in absolute silence, completely failing to process how a level 2 thief just casually obliterated a level 5 berserker. Kai steps out his pod, looking like his brain just blue X-screened. The best friend excitedly tackles our boy, heavily praising the ridiculous upset, modestly brushing it off as pure luck. Our boy agrees to properly teach his buddy how to play an arcade mage. Before they can celebrate, Kai and his gang march over. The best friend violently tenses up, fully expecting them to back out of the massive bet. Surprisingly, Kai honors the wager, hands over the cash, and politely invites them to hang out at his bar sometime. Walking away, a deeply confused Lucky asks why their boss is suddenly acting so polite to the local punching bag. Showing rare character development, Kai explains that the kid has clearly changed into a terrifying threat, and it is vastly better to be on his good side before he inevitably skyrockets to the top of the food chain. Celebrating their massive payout, our boy treats his best friend to an expensive dinner, spending the entire night discussing elite game strategies. Later that evening, our boy hits the gym, enduring some heavy core training and deeply appreciating the sheer physical vitality of being young again. Once his real-world stamina is sufficiently drained, he logs back into conviction to fulfill his promise to raid the Dried Forest. Loading into the city, he immediately accepts a friend request and a mail package from Flaming Stone the Paladin. The Kai deposited a shiny silver coin into his storage, enthusiastically reporting that the Murloc Wizard Guide worked flawlessly. Begging for more insider knowledge, the Paladin asks for a walkthrough for the Ogre's Lair. Our boy quickly does the math and decides to hold off. Selling non-stop dungeon guides right now will make him look suspiciously omniscient. He resolves to let the Paladin's team wipe a few more times so he can absolutely gouge them on the price later. First on his immediate to-do list is cashing in his hidden quest. He approaches the NPC physician Blevins and gracefully hands over 30 silk threads. Grateful for the massive haul, the physician rewards him with 30 pieces of regular silk and officially offers to teach him the intermediate combat bandage skill. Our boy happily accepts, noting that the incredibly vital skill requires 10 silver per bandage, but restores 20 health per second over a 10-second channel, making it an absolute lifesaver. Checking his quest log, he realizes the turn-in only bumped his progress to 20%, confirming it is actually a massive chain quest. The physician formally requests even more silk, and our boy politely agrees to help, though he mentally tables the chore so he can go secure a specific Featherfall gem from the Dried Forest first. Right on cue, Ye Yao calls, demanding he hurry up and meet her group. He heads to the Tracktown teleportation point and bumps into his best friend, ready to carry him through the dungeon as promised. Yao Yao finally approaches with her raid group, which includes a stunningly beautiful blonde girl named Yulon. The best friend immediately starts drooling, severely questioning how our boy managed to surround himself with ultite top-tier beauties. Yao Yao glares at our boy, strictly warning him not to embarrass her since she aggressively hyped up his skills to Yulon. The blonde beauty quietly sizes our boy up, noting his calm, composed aura completely screams, veteran expert. Stepping up, our boy confidently announces he is 100% certain he can guide them to a flawless victory. However, he lays down one absolute non-negotiable rule. He is the sole raid leader, and everyone must follow his exact calls without question. Instantly triggered by the sheer arrogance, a smug thief in the group scoffs, loudly demanding to know why they should trust a complete stranger not to lead them straight into a total team wipe. The smug thief aggressively questions the blonde beauty about taking an outsider side. She formally apologizes to our boy on the thief's behalf and promises to make everyone join his party. Our boy, being a pragmatist with a PhD in betrayal, lays down his absolute terms. He demands total obedience, offering anyone the door if they have an issue, and strictly warns that anyone caught sabotaging the run will face his wrath. He officially creates the party and the entire squad, including the begrudging smug thief. Clicks accept. The blonde beauty immediately establishes the chain of command, declaring our boy's orders as absolute law and threatening to banish anyone who causes trouble. Our boy smoothly addresses the group, reminding them they all share the goal of clearing the dried forest. He promises that if he makes a bad call that results in a team wipe, he will personally compensate them with 10 silver coins. The sheer magnitude of that payout leaves the group staring in absolute shock. Whispering to the pink-haired girl, the blonde beauty admits she is starting to believe his sheer confidence might actually carry them through. Interrupting the gossip, our boy demands a full stat check. The main shield warrior reports a solid 61 defense and 230 health, perfectly fitting the core tank role. The second shield warrior, named Dumpling, lists his defense at 51. After a mage rattles off his damage stats, our boy starts barking orders, commanding the main tank to buy a haste potion and Dumpling to buy a strength potion. The group balked at the demand, complaining that those potions cost dozens of copper coins, and a successful clear might not even cover the expense. The smug thief snarks that anyone could clear the dungeon if they chugged that many expensive potions. The best friend immediately jumps to our boy's defense, mocking the thief for talking big while being too broke to afford basic supplies and sarcastically offering to loan the cheapskate some cash. The pink-haired girl gently asks our boy if they really need such heavy investments just to clear the dungeon on normal difficulty. Our boy smoothly insists the money will not be wasted, secretly noting to himself that he has absolutely no intention of running normal mode. Trusting him, the blonde beauty orders everyone to buy their potions. Stocked up, the group arrives at the dungeon entrance. Our boy tells them to wait while he activates the instance. Reading the lore carved into a mysterious boulder, he notes the poetic warnings about waking slumbering tree spirits and dark elves causing trouble in the woods. When the system prompts him to select the difficulty from easy all the way up to master, he confidently clicks on expert mode. The party is instantly teleported into the dried forest and immediately greeted by a massive system notification confirming the expert difficulty. Absolute panic ensues. The blonde beauty starts sweating profusely, her soul practically leaving her body for a permanent vacation as she realizes this was not a rookie misclick. The smug thief furiously accuses our boy of intentionally dragging them in a wipe and lose their precious experience points. Unbothered, our boy reminds them that since he brought them in, he knows how to get them out, adding that the exit is completely free if they want to leave. The pink-haired girl aggressively steps up, shouting at the smug thief that she was the one who invited our boy and demanding he stop targeting him. The thief immediately backs down, verbally surrendering to her, but mentally cedes over her defending an outsider. Our boy casually explains that expert difficulty is really not that big of a deal. He casually notes the monsters just have 30% more health. The stat requirements are slightly higher, and the Dried King boss has a few extra mechanics to call out. The blonde beauty severely questions reality, knowing that in most dungeons, a single point of missing defense or 1% of extra damage is enough to trigger a total wipe. The pink-haired girl nervously asks if he is truly sure about this. He just tells her to relax. The smug thief crosses his arms, bitterly plotting to watch our boy's grand command crash and burn. Suddenly, aggressive vines erupt from the environment. Our boy instantly warns the group that they have entered the Dryad's attack range and orders everyone to immediately spread out to both sides. The entire party flawlessly dodges the ambush except for the smug thief, who completely ignored the order. The aggressive Flora instantly wraps him up, leaving him dangling in the air and screaming for our boy to save him. The smug thief dangles from the vines like a sad piñata, screaming frantically for his life. Our boy instantly snaps into commander mode. He barks rapid-fire orders for the tanks to hit the right flank, the paladins to form a defensive wall, and the magers to unleash their full firepower. The squad executes the commands flawlessly, shredding the angry shrubbery and dropping the smug thief safely to the floor. Instead of a simple thank you, the thief throws a massive tantrum. He furiously accuses our boy of spotting the ambush early and withholding the warning just to make him look incompetent, arguing that nobody could give tactical orders that calmly unless it was premeditated. Our boy completely shuts down the crying session. He points out that the entire group walked into the ambush at the exact same time. Even the bulky, heavily armored shield warriors managed to dodge the attack, making it incredibly pathetic that an agility-based thief somehow got caught. The best friend eagerly jumps into the roasting circle, boldly, declaring the guy's skills are pure trash and suggesting a random noob off the street could do a better job. The blonde beauty finally steps in, loudly, ordering the smug thief to stop embarrassing himself. Feeling utterly betrayed, the thief whines that even his own captain is taking an outsider side. Deciding he has heard enough crying for one day, our boy announces there are plenty of dark elf traps ahead. Since the current thief clearly skipped the tutorial, our boy volunteers to take the lead and give a free masterclass. Bounding ahead, our boy flawlessly dances through the danger zone, disarming and dodging traps with an agile speed that leaves the rest of the party staring in absolute. The blonde beauty is especially mesmerized by his insane efficiency. Refusing to be upstaged, the smug thief scoffs, loudly bragging that trap clearing is incredibly easy. He immediately marches forward, steps squarely onto a hidden trigger, and nearly cancels his own subscription to life. Our boy swoops in at the absolute last microcond, disabling the trap and saving the guy from becoming digital confetti. Shaking his head, our boy admits he has genuinely never witnessed a thief play this horribly. Humiliated beyond repair, the smug thief furiously accuses our boy of intentionally setting him up, arguing that since our boy walked past that exact spot, it should have been perfectly safe. The best friend completely loses his mind at the sheer audacity, calling the guy a hopelessly ungrateful brat who would be dead right now if our boy had not intervened. Our boy calmly explains that simply walking past a trap does not magically disarm it for the person blindly trailing behind, officially diagnosing the guy as totally unfit to play the shadow dancer class that completely shatters the smug thief's fragile ego. He violently draws his dagger, curses loudly, and aggressively challenges our boy to a duel. Without even breaking a sweat, our boy effortlessly catches the incoming blade between his bare fingers. He casually suggests the guy go fetch a small army of backup because fighting him one-on-one would absolutely cure his insomnia. The blonde beauty violently scolds her guildmate, reminding him that stepping on a trap is entirely his own fault and demanding he stop throwing a temper tantrum at the guy carrying them. The pink-haired girl aggressively agrees, expressing sheer disappointment that he's actively trying to stab the person who just saved his life twice. Desperately trying to salvage his shattered pride, the thief complains that his own teammates are bullying him to protect a total stranger. The rest of the party unanimously tells him to drop it, with the rest of the members loudly confirming our boy did absolutely nothing wrong. Realizing he has 0 supporters left, this smug thief laughs bitterly, sarcastically, declaring he wants to see how this so-called expert carries them, and promptly rage quits the party, vanishing from the dungeon. The pink-haired girl looks thoroughly embarrassed and sincerely apologizes to our boy for dragging him into such a toxic mess. Our boy smoothly brushes it off, noting that shedding dead weight actually makes the run significantly easier, though he privately vows to build his own guild in the future to avoid babysitting entitled randos. The blonde beauty quickly redirects the group's focus, suggesting they discuss the drama later and actually finish the raid. Fast forward half an hour, the party encounters a massive, impassable roadblock. Having scouted ahead in stealth, our boy returns with the grim news. The path is completely choked by exactly 18 angry dryads. The blonde beauty's face loses all its color as she panics, stating it is mathematically impossible for them to survive that much aggressive foliage at once. Our boy calmly agrees, confirming he is not nearly suicidal enough to order a full frontal assault. When she nervously asks for the actual plan, our boy slowly draws his trusty small crossbow. Flashing a wicked grin, he internally prepares to show the group exactly what god-tier single-target mob pulling looks like. Quick pause. If you're enjoying the story so far, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps to make it worth to bring next parts. Done. Awesome. Let's get back to it. Our boy whips out his trusty small crossbow and fires 3 consecutive bolts straight into the massive cluster of 18 dryads. The entire squad's collective soul practically leaves their bodies for a permanent vacation. His best friend aggressively panics, screaming that if those arrows agitate the whole pack, their subscriptions to life are officially canceled. Ignoring the digital heart attacks happening behind him, our boy calmly barks orders, directing the main tank to stand at specific map coordinates and brace for impact. The bolts flawlessly strike their marks. The blonde beauty's jaw practically hits the floor as she realizes what just happened. She completely fangirls over his god-tier mechanics, amazed that he used a triple shot-hand crossbow to accurately pull single targets from 3 totally different angles without aggroing the tightly packed mob. She mentally notes that even the server's top-ranked elite thieves would severely struggle to pull off a stunt like that, instantly calculating that their rate's overall survival rate just skyrocketed by a massive 30%. The pink-haired girl stares in awe, finally grasping just how ridiculously strong their new leader really is. Our boy immediately snaps the team to attention. He orders the main tank to lock down one dryad heavily, reminding him to just hold his ground and tank the hits, while the rest of the squad focuses all their massive firepower on the other isolated targets. The best friend eagerly notes that the insane strategy is actually working flawlessly. The blonde beauty proudly announces her side is completely clear and rushes her group over to support the main tank. They absolutely melt the remaining dryads. The system instantly rewards them with a pair of bronze-grade mage gloves. The entire team is completely hyped, shocked that regular mobs are dropping premium gear on this difficulty. The pink-haired girl practically interrogates him on how he pulled off that insane maneuver, but our boy just flashes a smug grin and reminds her he promised a premium carry. For the next 20 minutes, our boy meticulously repeats the exact same flawless pulling strategy until the entire zone is cleared. Staring at the massive mountain of premium loot, the exhausted squad realizes that expert difficulty is basically a giant digital ATM. Catching his breath, our boy casually mentions that this early haul is absolutely nothing compared to the true rewards hiding deeper in the dungeon. After a quick rest, the squad packs up and starts walking. The blonde beauty looks confused and points out that they are heading west into a known dead end instead of taking the standard eastern route. Our boy smoothly tells her to just blindly follow his lead and promises she will absolutely not regret it. Suddenly, the faint sound of a flute echoes through the trees. Flashing a wicked smile, our boy probably announces he found their target, the hidden dry shepherd. Our boy mentally recaps the dungeon's tragic lore. The dry and humans used to live in perfect peaceful harmony until some chaotic dark elves showed up, corrupted the forest, and turned the local flora into homicidal lumber. The local council then hired adventurers to come in and basically weed-walk the rampaging Dryad King. Approaching the nameless old shepherd NPC, the old man immediately warns the group to leave, ominously claiming the Dryads gain terrifying, murderous power once night falls. Switching to maximum charisma, our boy respectfully addresses the NPC by his full hidden title, declaring they have arrived to bring the corrupted Dryads to justice. The old man furiously interrupts, screaming that the wretched dark elves from the underground are the ones who truly deserve absolute divine judgment. He dramatically complains that the shadowy past stole his precious flute and are currently hiding in the dark, laughing like absolute lunatics. The blonde beauty looks at the scene like it is a Windows Update stock at 99%. She is completely baffled that our boy casually triggered a Hidden Isle storyline and aggressively whispers to the pink-haired girl, demanding to know exactly who this mysterious expert is. The pink-haired girl just shrugs in pure confusion. Even the best friend's brain is short-circuiting, realizing there is absolutely no way they could ever defeat the expert-level Dryad King without triggering this exact secret quest. Smoothly keeping the lie going, our boy tells the old man they actually spotted the sneaky elves the second they entered the forest. Thrilled to finally have competent help, the NPC hands over 3 bags of specialized revealing dust, powerful items capable of exposing any hidden creatures within a 30-yard radius for 20 seconds. The old man practically begs them to hunt down the thieves, retrieve his flute, and use the momentum to crush the Dryad King. Securing the crucial quest items, our boy confidently commands the squad to follow him as he casually swings off a rock using a sturdy vine. Trailing behind, the blonde beauty nervously asks if he actually knows how to find the hidden elves. Our boy casually promises they are about to trap the dark elves like helpless turtles in a jar. The pink-haired girl looks around the empty forest and asks how he knows their exact location. Smirking, our boy explains the enemies have been loudly broadcasting their position from the very beginning as she frantically looks around in sheer confusion. Our boy calmly announces they have already arrived, just as the shadowy dark elves silently materialize directly behind the completely oblivious squad. Our boy immediately announces that the 2 hidden dark elves are basically demonic track stars, warning the group that if they do not nuke them instantly, they will be completely impossible to catch. Tossing the revealing dust into the air, the sneaky elves are instantly exposed. Panicking, the enemies try to make a run for it, but the rest of the party flawlessly blocks their escape routes. The best friend eagerly steps up to the plate, roasting one of the elves with a well-timed fire spell. The blonde beauty commands her squad to join the fray, while our boy aggressively reminds everyone to secure the dried shepherd's flute at all costs. One of the desperate elves tries to take a swing at our boy, but he effortlessly dodges the attack and retaliates with a brutal critical strike, instantly sending the elf to the respawn screen. Looting the digital corpses, our boy successfully secures the precious flute. He mentally notes the ridiculous stats of the quest item. It can be used at level 0, completely the stats of all dried monsters, and grant a massive 300 bonus health points, though it is strictly locked to this specific dungeon. While he examines the instrument, the blonde beauty discovers a mysterious letter on the body. Staring at the gibberish, she assumes it is written in Elven and admits she cannot read a single word. Our boy easily translates the lore, explaining it details a dark elf gathering intelligence for an upcoming D-Tribe counterattack on Hilton Forest with strict instructions to deliver the warning to Warlord Barnes. He casually announces it is a highly lucrative side quest they can turn in back at town, sending the entire squad into a hype frenzy over the surprise bonus loot. Our boy completely ignores the celebrations and tosses the overpowered flute straight to the main tank. Gripping the instrument, the tank practically vibrates with excitement, boldly declaring that the massive health boost makes him completely fearless against the upcoming boss. As the squad confidently marches forward, the best friend watches our boy in pure awe, mentally noting how ridiculously fast his buddy managed to flip a toxic, hostile party into a loyal. While L continuing their botanical massacre, the squad shreds through the remaining dries. The loophole drops a premium bronze shield that boosts defense by a massive 10%. The blonde beauty's eyes practically turn into dollar signs, admitting she has never farmed a shield with such ridiculous stats. Knowing that this single piece of gear could carry her team through higher-tier dungeons, even without our boy's help, she nervously asks if she can buy it off him. Our boy casually brushes her off, explaining he's only here for thief gear and a specific Featherfall gem from the final boss. He generously tells her to just take whatever her team needs first since he was just going to sell it anyway. The pink-haired girl profusely thanks him, feeling incredibly guilty about basically robbing their guide blind. Before they can get too emotional over the loot distribution, a massive commotion violently shakes the forest. Our boy instantly snaps into commander mode, warning everyone to stay sharp and form up. The level 4 Lord Drag King violently erupts into the clearing, furiously screaming about humans trespassing in his domain before launching a massive attack. Our boy flawlessly dances around the lethal strikes with insulting ease. The blonde beauty simply stares in absolute disbelief, completely failing to understand how a squishy level 2 thief is casually toying with a level 4 boss. Wasting no time, our boy barks out the battle formation. He orders the main tank to lock down the boss in melee range and explicitly demands all casters stay exactly 30 yards back. As the tank absorbs the first hit, he nervously notes the boss's defense is absolutely insane. Completely unfazed, our boy immediately commands the majors to open fire, perfectly coordinating the entire squad as they launch their synchronized assault on the massive tree monster. Kicking things off with a massive explosion, the squad unleashes absolute hell on the boss, shaving off chunks of health with back-to-back strikes. Our boy immediately barks at the main tank to blow the dried shepherd's flute. The tank hits the right notes, and the boss stats instantly plummet by a devastating 50%. Shifting his focus, our boy orders the mages to strictly spam fire spells and completely ditch ice magic due to the tree monster's high natural resistance. The best friend practically jumps with joy, happily raining down his specialty fireballs. When the furious boss uses a trap spell to root the tank in place, our boy immediately calls out to the squad's priest. Following his exact tactical instructions, she cleanly dispels the trap. Absolutely thrilled to be part of such a well-oiled machine. Flawlessly coordinating their attacks, the team violently melts the boss down to a quarter of its health. Refusing to become digital firewood, the Droid King throws a massive tantrum and enters a terrifying berserk mode. A violent shock wave pushes the entire squad back, leaving the blonde beauty severely questioning reality as she never expected the boss to actually enrage. Our boy screams at the main tank to instantly lock into a defensive stance. Bracing for impact, the tank eats a staggering 220 damage hit. His health bar practically vanishes, and he panics, feeling like he is trying to hold back a runaway freight train. Just as his soul is about to leave his body for a permanent vacation, a wave of crucial heals from the priest tops him off, barely managing to push the massive monster back. The tank pops the exact instant health potion our boy aggressively forced him to buy earlier in the city. He experiences a total epiphany. Realizing our boy had this exact life or death micro-interaction calculated from the very beginning with the team struggling against the heavy pushback, our boy calls for the final burst, shouting that the boss is practically on its last digital breath. The blonde beauty lunges forward, unleashing a blinding holy light slash. Seizing the perfect opening, our boy launches himself through the air, burying his dagger directly into the Dryad King's face. The final critical strike connects, and the massive tree violently crumbles to the ground. The entire party stands there in absolute breathless shock. The pink-haired girl is practically vibrating with excitement, completely amazed that their ragtag setup actually conquered the dreaded expert difficulty. The priest aggressively praises our boy's god Tearshot calling, openly admitting they would be permanent fertilizer without him. Even the main tank is riding an absolute high, overwhelmed by the sheer achievement of surviving an expert-level boss. Golden light flashes across the clearing as the entire squad happily levels up. Sifting through the massive pile of premium loot, our boy finally secures his ultimate prize, the Featherfall gem. He smugly notes that all the stressful babysitting was strictly to get his hands on this specific treasure. Examining the dark gold great accessory, he checks out its ridiculous stats, which offer a massive 16 defense and 7 bonus strength. But the true value is its special active effect. Once triggered, the user's body becomes completely weightless, allowing for a gentle slow-motion descent from any height for 3 full minutes. Outside the game pods, the crowd stares at the spectator screen, looking exactly like a collective Windows update suck at 99%. They simply cannot process that the match is already over. The defeated Ranger sits in his chair, severely questioning reality, wondering how a few simple movements resulted in his instant digital deletion. He completely fails to understand when the notoriously timid Nan grew an actual spine. Meanwhile, our boy steps out of his pod, mentally noting that obliterating a level 2 newbie basically counts as cyberbullying at this point. He turns to his best friend and casually asks how his matches went. The friend groans, admitting he lost 2 rounds and is deep in the hole. He aggressively complains that the local bully leader, Wikai, learned the Berserker class's anti-agic aura, which completely shut down his arcane mage. Our boy immediately fact-checks him, explaining that the aura only shaves off a tiny bit of spell damage. The real secret to destroying a Berserker is just timing your spell cast properly. The friend awkwardly admits his timing was absolute garbage, allowing Wei Kai to close the gap and completely wipe the floor with him. Staring at our boy in sheer confusion, the friend asks where he suddenly learned all this elite game knowledge. In response, our boy simply flashes the massive what a cash he just won. Their celebration is rudely interrupted by the guy our boy just humiliated. Furious about losing his money, the Lucky throws a very real physical punch straight at our boy's face. Without even blinking, our boy catches the fist in midair and casually tosses the guy to the floor like a mildly annoying bug. He mentally thanks the intense physical training he did in his past life to deal with Xiao and LT, Unk and GT's real-world goons. Tingoso's jaw practically hits the floor as he tries to figure out when his best bro turned into a martial arts protagonist. The rest of the bully gang completely freezes, instantly realizing the local coward has officially clocked out. Seeing his lackey tasting the floor tiles, W. Kai steps up and calls off his goons. He notes that our boy just embarrassed his underling, but our boy smoothly brushes it off, calling the guy a little too weak to be a proper warm-up. Smirking, W. Kai extends a hand and formally invites our boy to a round. Our boy completely ignores the handshake and bluntly states he is only playing if the stakes are massive. He demands $1,000 per round, throwing up 3 fingers to lock in a 3,000 total pot. Tangao absolutely panics, frantically reminding our boy that Wei Kai is a level 5 Berserker, while our boy is just a squishy level 2 thief. Wei Kai is shocked by the sheer audacity, but confidently agrees, utterly refusing to believe a level 2 can pull off a miracle. Tang Yao aggressively whispers, asking if our boy even has that kind of cash. Our boy cheerfully admits he is completely broke and expects his best friend to front the money. Left with 0 options, Tang Yao aggressively agrees to risk his wallet and back his bro. The two log back into the pods and load into the arena. Outside, Tang Yao paces nervously, stressing that an open plains map is an absolute death trap for a stealth-reliant thief. Inside the digital arena, Wake sportsmanship and offers to change the map if our boy feels it is too unfair. Our boy completely ignores the pity offer, declaring the grassy plains will do just fine. He instantly pops his stealth skill and completely vanishes from W. Kai's vision. Wei Kai spins around in confusion, completely losing his target. Our boy expertly analyzes the environment, knowing the rustling tall grass will easily broadcast his movements. To counter this, he patiently decides to use the natural wind as his camouflage. YA wildly swings at the empty air, completely baffled. Normally, tall grass makes spotting a thief incredibly easy, but this kid is somehow using the terrain against him to perfection. Trying to rationalize the situation, Y assumes our boy must be crawling at a snail's pace directly in front of him to avoid making noise. In reality, our boy is already standing right behind him, waiting for the perfect gust of wind to mask his footsteps. Our boy strikes the back of Wei Kai's head for 35 damage. Wei Kai practically jumps out of his digital skin, frantically wondering how the kid teleported behind him. Panicking, the berserker leaps backward and unleashes a massive whirlwind slash. One of the wildly spinning blades barely clips our boy, knocking off 9 health points. But our boy is entirely unfazed. He mentally calculates that executing a whirlwind slash with a heavy great word forces a mandatory 1-second animation lag at the end of the attack, declaring the brief window his golden ticket to victory. Our boy aggressively closes the gap and unleashes his vital strike. Outside the pods, the bully gang is staring at the monitor with their eyeballs practically sweating. They cannot comprehend how our boy's skill timing is so terrifyingly precise. Tanga watches in pure hype as our boy's dagger connects, dealing a devastating 96 critical damage. Now sitting at a pathetic 34 health out of his original 165, a desperate and furious Wei Kai screams for our boy to go to hell, launching a desperate flame slash to try and salvage his pride. Thanks for sticking around until the end. If you enjoyed this recap, drop a like and let me know your favorite moment in the comments. I'll see you in the next video for more madness. Peace. Golden light flashes as our boy officially hits level 3. The system announces their expert level 4 is clear, awarding them base party honor. The best friend vibrates with hype, pointing out the reward actually skyrocketed to a massive 12 points, leaving the squad completely stark. Our boy tells the pink-haired crush they can split the remaining loot themselves as he is tapping out of the division. Announcing their next stop is Carol City to cash in the quest. The blonde beauty overflows with gratitude, admitting she has absolutely no idea how to thank him for the hard carry. Arriving at the Carol City teleport point, the squad is in incredibly high spirits. Lurking in the shadows like a rejected villain is the original thief who abandoned them earlier. Spying from the back, his jaw practically hits the floor when he sees the entire group miraculously leveled up. Grinding his teeth into a dental emergency, he bitterly burns our boy's username into his memory, vowing never to forget the insult. At the Carol City barracks, the crew approaches Warlord Cavaro. When asked what brings them to his domain, Arboi casually reports capturing 2 dark elves in the dried forest and securing juicy intel about the Hilton Fortress. Cavaro looks like he just won the lottery, praising their service and instantly coughing up the rewards. The system goes wild, showering them with double reputation points and over 300,000 experience. Cavaro also personally teaches our boy combat techniques, granting him 2 permanent strength points, 2 silver coins, and the stun skill. Our boy internally does backflips over scoring free stats and a skill book from this insanely profitable hidden quest. With the quest cashed in, our boy announces it is time to move. When the pink-haired crush asks about his plans, he claims he is just grinding mobs while secretly plotting to use his Featherfall gem to cheese an elite monster called the Lion King. The squad finally splits, in the absolute second they are alone. The best friend drops to the floor, hugging our boy's leg like a lifeline. Completely brainwashed by the expert dungeon run, he begs to be taught how to play an arcade mage. Deeply disturbed by the physical contact, our boy awkwardly agrees, noting they must upgrade his trash gear first. Acting like a sugar daddy at the local blacksmith, our boy outfits his friend with bronze armor and straw sandals for a solid stat boost. Fully equipped, he announces their next destination is Rain Hill for a masterclass in combat. Arriving at a gloomy cave, our boy explains the local bat monsters drop valuable fangs and give his friend a strict 1-hour farming limit. Overflowing with unearned confidence, the friend charges in, screaming a fire spell to bag his first kill. Refusing to just stand around, our boy joins the slaughter, efficiently slicing mobs and scooping up fangs. Half an hour later, our boy checks his system window only to receive a panicked distress call. His friend is running for his life from red-named players, griefers legally flagged by the system for murdering people to steal gear. Suspecting they belong to the Radiant Holy Flame Guild, the friend admits the complicated cave layout forces him to just run the attackers in circles. He explains he accidentally stumbled upon a level 3 elite boss and got ambushed before he could call for backup. Telling his friend to keep kiting, our boy springs to the coordinates. Perched on a rock, he he spots 3 aggressive players camping the entrance. The ringleader, a level 13 elemental mage, confirms with his lackey that their prey is trapped, openly mocking the friend's garbage gear. Surveying the trio, our boy smiles, knowing dead red-named players drop every piece of their gear. Spotting the mage wearing the coveted Flame Chaser's set, our boy activates stealth, noting that anyone bold enough to camp entrance with a glowing red target cannot be underestimated. But as he creeps closer, the mage suddenly senses the danger. Leaping backward, the boss smirks, claiming he was waiting for him, unleashing a blazing fire spell at the empty air. He instantly blows our boy's cover. The lackey panic, screaming to kill the thief. Realizing this mage is a seasoned pro, our boy knows he cannot let the caster create distance. He immediately pops a speed scroll, boosting his movement by 20% as he charges straight into the inferno. A system notification immediately pops up, officially declaring that our boy is being attacked by another player and granting him a glorious 30 minutes of completely justified self-defense. Refusing to waste a single second, our boy charges straight through the blazing ring of fire. The elemental mage boss watches this lunatic sprint directly into the flames just to force his way into melee range. His brain short-circuiting as he wonders how a thief can possibly move that fast. Closing the gap, our boy unleashes his assassinate skill, slicing into the boss and shredding his health bar. Panic erupts among the lackeys. One of the grunts tries to ambush our boy from behind with a flame slash, screaming for his boss to be careful because the thief popped a speed scroll. Meanwhile, the second lackey, a priest, aggressively hurls a holy light spell, cursing the damn little thief. Our boy effortlessly dodges the incoming attacks, his mind working like a supercompute. He calculates that the boss's scorching flame burst spell has a painfully slow 5-second cast time, guaranteeing he has more than enough time to interrupt it. He relentlessly closes in again, raining blow after blow on the panicked mage. Completely shocked and rapidly losing health, the boss desperately tries to jump backward, screaming at his completely useless team that he is about to die and begging them to stop the attacker. The warrior lackey helplessly apologizes to Boss Yong Kong, complaining that this thief's speed is absolutely broken and completely impossible to catch. As the lackeys desperately charge in, our boy cleanly dodges their clumsy attempts and delivers a brutal vital strike, permanently canceling the flame mage's subscription to life. The boss hits the dirt instantly. A system notification chimes in, rewarding our boy with a shiny new prestige point for legally executing a red-name player, helpfully explaining that higher prestige unlocks better quests and Sweet City discounts. Witnessing their leader drop like a sack of potatoes, the warrior screams that the boss exploded with loot and orders his teammate to grab the dropped items immediately. But our boy is already standing right over the fresh corpse, happily scooping up the gear and proudly declaring that the coveted flame Tesor set officially belongs to him. Enraged, the lackeys launch another desperate assault. Our boy dodges the brunt of it, but takes a minor glancing blow, losing 17 health points. Deciding to play it smart, he immediately turns and sprints away. The lackey give chase, screaming not to let him escape, absolutely terrified of how they will ever explain this utter failure to their resurrected boss. They desperately keep throwing attacks at his retreating back, but our boy calmly slaps on a combat bandage while sprinting, rapidly regenerating his health. He confidently notes that his speed stats are just too high for them to ever keep up. The priest points out in pure despair that their target is actively bandaging and healing on the run. Our boy flashes a devilish grin, feeling incredibly refreshed now that his health is completely full and his cooldowns are ready to go. He suddenly hits the brakes, turns right back around and locks eyes with the warrior, casually announcing that it is his turn to die. The warrior blindly charges forward with a heavy swing. Defying the laws of physics, our boy literally jumps onto the flat of the incoming sword, using it as a stepping stone to deliver a massive 55 damage vital strike, followed instantly by a 38 damage assassinate. To add insult to injury, he smoothly draws his bow at point-blank range and unloads a devastating shot that deals 555 damage. Staring at his miserable 5% remaining health, the warrior suddenly realizes he is one bad decision away from joining his boss in the afterlife. Panicking that he might lose his own gear, he instantly abandons the fight and tries to run for his life. But our boy effortlessly closes the distance, calmly informing him that escaping is strictly prohibited before executing him on the spot and snatching up his dropped gear. Finally, our boy slowly turns his terrifying attention to the final surviving lackey. Flashing a wicked smile, he casually tells the light mage that he is up next. The priest looks like his soul has permanently left his body for a vacation. Internally screaming about how a squishy healer is, he posed to survive a one-on-one fight with an overleveled assassin. Looking like an absolute sleep paralysis demon in the eyes of the terrified priest, our boy sarcastically notes that the guy looked pretty thrilled about blasting him with holy light just a minute ago. Still wearing that sinister grin, our boy cracks his knuckles, fully prepared to take out the final piece of trash. Our boy inspects the freshly looted Flame Chaser set, a circuit boosting fire damage, strength gloves, fire boost greaves, defensive armor, and agility boots. He nods in satisfaction, noting this bronze tier gear is absolutely perfect for his best friend, Tangao, who spams fire magic. The leftover junk gear will simply be pawned for cash. Opening his system window, he demands his friend's coordinates. Tanga admits he is currently cowering in a dark cave surrounded by level 5 mobs. Our boy immediately transfers the shiny new equipment and promises to head over right away. Seeing the massive stat boosts, Tangel practically screams through the chat, demanding to know how he scored the premium gear. Our boy casually mentions he simply deleted a red-named player and stole his clothes. Questioning reality, Tangao laughs his head off, declaring this revenge feels so incredibly satisfying he would not even mind dying today. Our boy tells him to hold that thought, promising to hunt down a few more of these grievers. The scene shifts to a 5-man Radiant Holy Flame guild party. A member stares at his system window, announcing Boss Yang Kong is officially dead. The squad is dumbfounded, arguing the boss has top 10 server spell damage. Someone points out the horrific reality. Since Yang Kong was a red name, his entire premium set just dropped to the dirt. Assuming a rival guild orchestrated a massive hit, the party leader shatters the illusion, grimly explaining the trio was completely wiped out by a single level 3 thief. The squad's collective brain cells practically misfired. The leader insists Yang Kong confirmed the assassin is Nirvana Flame, highly likely the teammate of the arcade mage they were originally hunting. He announces a guild kill on site order with a 5 silver coin bounty, strictly warning they must engage the thief with at least a 3-man party. Unbeknownst to the squad, our boy is actively eavesdropping behind a tree. Internally scoffing at his cheap bounty, he slips into stealth mode, eager to show these bullies what happens when they push a solo player too far. Suddenly, a massive level 5 boss monster appears, the Antler Deer leader, boasting 2,000 health points. The guild leader quickly switches gears. Since they cannot find their targets anyway, he decides they might as well farm the beast for its rare drops and orders a quick takedown to split the cash. Watching from the shadows, our boy realizes this is the absolute perfect distraction. The 3 melee fighters blindly charge the deer, completely abandoning their backline. The 2 squishy mages safely hang out in the back, arrogantly bragging they only need 30 seconds to melt the boss. They are violently humbled when our boy materializes from stealth right behind them. He instantly executes the first mage, then permanently cancels the second mage's subscription to life before the guy can even chug a health potion. Blinking in confusion, the sole surviving priest wonders where his DPS vanished, only to realize he is staring directly at the server's newest sleep paralysis demon. Panicking, the priest blindly fires a holy judgment spell at our boy. Meanwhile, the guild leader notices the severe lack of magical explosions supporting the front line. Turning around, the fighters spot the glowing holy light and realize the damn thief is currently butchering their backline. Caught in a literal death trap between the rogue assassin and the angry deer boss's aggro, the sweating leader makes a desperate call. He orders his front line to literally tank the deer with their faces, insisting they must kill the boss first before turning their attention to the thief. NGT. Hope you enjoyed the recap. If you did, drop a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Even when my shadow